Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this series, you're going to see 25 days of trade analysis. I am calling it 25 days of Tradesmas. In this Tradesmas series, if you are going to be watching it, I highly suggest that you take the opportunity to be participating in the giveaway. I would love to give back to you guys in the YouTube world who have supported me and followed me. I am always very interactive in the trading floor community, but I know there's a ton of you who have followed me for a while who aren't in there, and I want to be able to give back to YouTube as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for all of your guys' support here on my YouTube channel, and I am wishing you all the warmest of holidays, whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. I personally celebrate Christmas, so therefore I am doing the 25 days of Tradesmas. But whatever your holiday season is, I wish you and your family and loved ones a very warm and happy holiday season. With that being said, I am doing the giveaway here on my channel. So for every day that I do one of the Tradesmas videos, if you do any sort of interaction, if you like, comment, or subscribe, you will earn an entry to be able to qualify at the end on the 25th day to be part of the drawing that I am holding. I will draw a winner for the giveaway. I will announce the winner on the 26th of December. The prize will be to win a yearly subscription to the trading floor. So if you guys are interested in it, make sure that you are doing the likes, subscribe, and comments. Obviously, you cannot resubscribe over and over again, but don't worry. You will get 3 credit points towards that, but then every day following it, as long as you leave a like and you leave a comment, you'll get 2 additional entries for each of those. In addition to my giveaway, if you guys love giveaways, we are doing one on the Trading Floor YouTube channel as well. It's the same thing over there in order to enter as well, though it is interaction. So if you like, comment, and subscribe over there with that channel, you are going to be entered into a drawing at the end on the 25th as well. We will draw a name for somebody to win a $1,000 cash prize. You do have to have PayPal to accept this prize, so make sure that you can accept PayPal if you're going to go over there and enter into it. But I think that's a really nice prize. I think most people this time of year would love to have $1,000 extra. So make sure that you guys are also checking out the Tradesmas that we are doing on the trading floor. And there are lots of styles of trading happening over there on their Tradesmas. You will see all of our live streamers and our staff submitting videos. So if breakout trading isn't really your thing, or maybe my style isn't your thing, no worries. Go check out the Trading Floor's YouTube and make sure you are subscribing, and commenting for an opportunity to win $1,000 cash prize at the end. Okay guys, let's get into the video, and happy holidays. Hello and welcome to day 11 of Tradesmas. This trade was a bit of a mess for me, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that, because I don't always remember every single trade exactly perfectly, but I do love when I write these little things in here, these notes for Strategy Wars, because it always helps to remind me what was happening maybe that day. And I have a life too, and it looks like I had a dentist appointment that day, so I was late to the markets, getting into them later in the day than I probably wanted to be. And looking at the chart now, it does look like I probably was later. It looks like this is more almost 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me, where I was running this trade. And that is pretty late for me personally to be trading. It doesn't really fit my plan. I'm usually more of a indices open, that first half of New York. If you're in the community, then we call it mixed session. It's where New York and London overlap. I like that time, that first 4 hours of the New York session. Anything after that trade, I will let trades continue to run and stuff like that. But I try to avoid trades unless it's something I've been watching for a while and my price alert goes off. But as far as entering off of a 1-minute time frame, I typically avoid them if possible. It's just because they just rarely have enough at that time in the day to really get the market to where it needs to go. And that's a classic indication of what happened here. And I knew that, so it looks like I was writing a whole little blurb about it. This looks like a trade I really shouldn't have taken. I probably should have skipped that day, but I was pretty early in Strategy Wars, as this was November 2nd, so the second day of Strategy Wars, and I probably just really wanted to trade and was excited and probably shouldn't have taken this trade, but I did make profit. So if you haven't watched my other videos, you can go back and watch pretty much a lot of the days I feel right now are showing these type of trades. I promise they get less and less frequent as we go further back. But November is a tough month. I do talk about this in yesterday's video a little bit. And December is really rough. If I actually try to trade December, I tend to struggle a lot in December with this type of like break even stuff. And I'm not going to switch things for just like 1 or 2 months because that really does mess with me mentally and my trading plan. So I don't change things around, but I stick to my trading plan through and through, and it still works. Like I still made 240 off of this trade. It's nothing to snub at. Like it's still money, but it's not like the best. And I know that, but it is what it is. I was trading and it happened. So anyway, this is what I made that day, $240.90, and this is the trade. We're on NASDAQ 100. It's a 1 minute time frame. And I have a zone that is marked here, but I must have been rushing because truthfully, this zone has to be refined. And what I mean by refined is that it's probably an old zone that I just extended over quickly. And for educational purposes, I really should have. So I apologize for this to those of you who are looking at this, but I really should have pulled this up some to cover this area. So I will highlight it on the screen what I'm talking about, but this is the actual zone you should have been looking at. And that I should have done, so I apologize. But again, I probably likely was rushing. It sounds like I was busy that day and just trying to get a trade and pulled it over. And in my head, I know that these were the areas because I can tell where I waited for my entry because I was waiting for it to come up to this zone and not just here. But nonetheless, you really should have probably pulled this zone up, and I should have showed it that way. It looks like I was still respecting this zone, and it might have been stronger to the left too. It's hard to tell because these are screenshots, but either way, it probably was something that I was looking at. And I know that I did set an alert earlier in the day for like this price point because I was at the dentist, like I said, and knew I would have to trade off with my phone. But I remember just getting a bunch of alerts. Like I vaguely remember just being really annoyed by my trading view alert noise that day and just getting like bombarded with alerts. I don't really know what happened, honestly. I don't remember if I silenced or whatever. Anyhow, moving on. The point of this markup was that, yes, this was a zone technically. It does break out of it. It does technically come back and retest this purple zone. So it breaks up, comes back in and retest. And then you get a nice movement up. And I remember looking at this thinking like, okay, well, this bullish smiley face plus this strong bullish candle, and it does break above where majority of the price action was happening. So most of this price action is happening like in this level and below. And then there's like a couple of outliers above it. So I was pretty comfortable with this trade. And the other reason I was comfortable with it was because the retest comes back to this level here. If it had come all the way back to the bottom of the support zone, I wouldn't have gotten in. I wouldn't have liked it. I would have wanted to wait to see if it actually broke and made new market structure. But this coming down here only to the mid-level and then pushing up is a good signal that market structure is about to be formed because it didn't create a new lower low or like hit this support level and come below it. It ends up creating a new higher low. So the market is down here on the support, pushes up, creates a new high or matches a high, pretty close to matches a high. This was a little bit more of a riskier decision on my part because there is a little bit of liquidity that was up here. So if you were a beginner trader, you shouldn't have looked to enter here, but you could have waited to enter for this smiley face with this bullish candle. And that would have been a more like respectable, cautious trade to take because at this point, at the close of this candle and this smiley face, you would have broken your zone, very clearly broken the full zone, and you would have already had confirmed market structure. So you would have had a high, a higher high, and then a new higher high. And your lows would have also been following suit. That could have been a potential beginner entry, so you guys have an idea of what that entry could have looked like. For me, because I am more of the intermediate to experienced trader, I did go with a little more of a riskier entry. So those are the two options where you could have entered at, but this was my entry here. And I did enter in, and like I said, I was comfortable with it just because this low wasn't too low. It didn't create new market structure lower down, and it didn't even retest where it had been. And then it did have a nice push up. So it, to me, had looked like there was going to be some more bullish pressure. Stop loss didn't go all the way at the bottom because of the retest. So you don't need to if you have the retest. I've talked about this in previous videos. As long as you have the breakout and your retest, you can kind of go under that retest, or you don't have to be as far down. You don't have to be all the way at the bottom of your zone. Had this hypothetically not retested and just shot up, then yeah, you want to cover your zone because you want to be careful in case that retest is deep. But in this case, it already retested. So I just kind of went a little bit under there, and I kind of looked to the left to figure out where is like some of the more heavy price action happening. And you can see that in like this little area. I went at the bottom of that area for my stop loss. Take profit, I did target market to the left. So I did look at using a zone that was to the left. It was for a 2 reward initially. And when it got to a 1R, I did move this to break even. So as it was going up the market, I did decide to take my stop loss and secure my trade to make sure that I wouldn't lose anything on this. And that is how we ended up with this $240.90. Because what happened was, if you look here at this little green box, just imagine this green box is here. I just put it over here just so I had space and you could have another visual to understand what actually ended up happening. The entry of the trade is around here. I moved my stop loss from down here to imagine entry point and then slightly in profit to like this area. And that the difference of where you're seeing in that $200. And at the point that it got to the top here, so once it got to that 14,925 price, that was about 1R for me, and that is when I decided to make this move of my stop loss to break even and then a little bit in profit. So that is where I moved my trailing stop once the trade was at this level. And as you can see, it does push up a little bit above that, so maybe even a little more at this point, but then it does come back and it does hit that number, and it did stop me out. But I would have lost. Yeah, so and it ends working out because my analysis on this for a 2R would have been wrong anyhow. It looks like maybe I could have gotten like a little more. I'm not sure if this would have been like a 1.5 or not, but maybe a little bit under, more like a 1.3. So anyhow, in this case, for this trade, I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate what I did here at all. I don't love that I got in so late in the day. I probably would have been better off like finding a nice breakout if I was able to have gotten in earlier in the day. But yeah, so that's how this trade worked out. I mean, it would have been nice to get the 1R, but again, I've said this in previous videos too. I don't break my rules for my risk management, which is what allows me to stay so consistent sometimes because I don't break them. And that'll like continue to stay in the market longer. So had there been more trade opportunities later in the day, since I secured $240 instead of losing $1,000 like I would have here, I still had another opportunity to potentially get back in. And, I could have, I know people are like, well, you could have had 1,000. I could have, but a 1R isn't in my trade plan. Like to take that many 1Rs all the time would throw off my percentage gain that I go for. And like it would throw off when I do have losses. So I do take 1Rs occasionally if I really love this setup, but I did not in this case. So anyhow, that's my logic behind this. That's what happened with this trade. I hope that was helpful for you guys. And luckily, looking ahead, it looks like we actually have a trade that plays out tomorrow. So yay, finally. All right, you guys, Merry December 11th, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.